Hey, good morning, Sunday Fair. I'm about to start some storytelling here. I've got some science fiction fantasy, some flights of the imagination. I'm just gonna broadcast them into the passing thoughts. And you can sit down here with me, or you can just catch me from wherever you are. But it's gonna be chill, and kind of fun, and mystical, and maybe deep. So I'm just gonna be over here storytelling. There's some singing yonder and yonder, but over here it's gonna be cosmic elemental dragons. And I think somebody's gonna make an announcement here.
Oregon Country Fair, Spirit Tower, welcome. How's everybody's Sunday morning happening so far? I see some folks on the stroll walking. We got some musicians, finger snapping. Everyone's slowly eating some food, checking in. How was everybody's night last night? How was your night, Austin?
We don't remember it.
You don't remember? I don't remember. I've heard some stories this morning, and I'm really grateful to be here this morning. It was fun to walk to main stage this morning and get some coffee and go get some Fruitios, walk by Energy Park, see my roots, where I started. I'm Dave Villalobos, and they asked me to come be a part of Spirit Tower this year as we're transitioning to see where Spirit Tower is going to be in the next who knows how long. And it's been fun to walk through fair and to be a part of everything the last 3 days. And to be here, be in Xanadu last night and Bubbles this morning, to see Reggie Watts last night, naked in the shower, and pretty much his set was like, it was really fun. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna welcome to the stage, we're gonna be taking down a tour of some cosmic connections, which apparently we had a lot of those happening, and they're still happening right now. And we're gonna bring to the stage, which Eva is actually already on the stage, but basically science fiction stories. If you wanna come in close, I see you're on the fence. We do have water right here if you wanna fill up. Have a seat, you can relax. We're gonna bring it in close. And I wanna welcome to the stage, Eva Ilaska. Thank you.
Hi, I'm the author of Bones of Starlight, which is a generational saga in an alternate universe at the turn of the age. So the world is changing, and in this world there are cosmic elemental dragons who embody things throughout the universe, and people can talk to them, and this is how humanity in this universe achieved interplanetary inhabitation. So we can talk to each other across the stars, and that's part of our cosmic connection. And dragons can connect one element to another in all its thought forms and all its physical manifestations between the cosmos, including different realities. And I'm just going to enjoy diving into dragons with us here. I've got my friend dragons right here helping me tell their story. And I think I'm gonna start with just a little bit of audio entry to the story. So I'll just start getting us into this other realm. So dragons are pretty exciting, and in this realm they've been enemies and they've become friends. And here I'm talking about when dragons are born, and one dragon was born, and it was difficult, but beautiful. So I'm starting with this. We are born of unknowns that we don't understand when we find them. This one, this dragon, wished to consume upon its opening. I'm sorry I couldn't foresee what it was. Now this one is born, its root existence set. In this way, at this time. We don't know its name yet, so it's still difficult to describe. It has to tell someone what it is. We've kept our births a mystery for good reason, because that's what they are, always. Only the first 8 of a dragon have some idea of what's going to happen, when, or where. They are the only ones who are fairly safe nearby. New dragons have little idea how to control their spatial dimensions at first. It's a unique occurrence every time, and the events are hardly recordable. So I'm imagining coming into existence, facing a reality that may not understand, but knowing that one is worthy of being everybody's first journey. I so enjoyed going into the stories of dragons and remaking them myself. The idea there was, what if dragons and other magical beings that we talk about in what we call lore or mythology or creation stories, what if they were aliens? What if they were extra-dimensional beings who had already visited our planet and perhaps found us more or less receptive at different times, but could visit again? They're just from other dimensions. We have our own dimension, they have theirs, and sometimes these dimensions overlap or can be opened to each other. And so reimagining mythical, magical existence as a reality next to ours was a different journey as an author. It made the magical sound really real. It made reality sound really magical. Both things do happen. Reality can become magical and magic can become real. So in the discussion of new dragons, they don't come in as children. They're not like humans. They don't come in little and get bigger. They come in as big as they ever were. They come in timeless. They have always existed. The moment they begin to exist, they have always existed. And they embody something that has always been there, but they might still be new. They are born and they die, and this alternate universe is a living universe. So discussing new dragons, I mean, sometimes they might appear little just to relate to something. These two right here appear pretty little. Soleil recalled her lessons in the voice of her dragon teacher, Arcuda. There is a common trait in new dragons. They are curious. They grant more boons in order to learn about the world. As hungry for knowledge as they are for food, They affect their part in this natural exchange by enabling capabilities. It makes them vulnerable, but they must learn humility in order to gain their maturity. New dragons have to learn their reality and become known in it. This means meeting life forms halfway. Older dragons grant fewer boons than the newly hatched because they understand the consequences. New dragons make more mistakes with greater extravagance, and they have to make up for it. They have the ignorance of those newly born into power, which they must endeavor to grow beyond. Granting a boon is like giving away a scale, leaving a vulnerable patch. One doesn't see scales missing, but the vulnerabilities remain and add up. Some humans say we have that in common with regards to getting older. If we appear to you somewhat like lizards, to lizards we appear somewhat like you. We are sufficiently alien to everyone, including ourselves. We are sovereign, and clearly so, even to each other. Soleil realizes this is only the second dragon she's truly met. She's not entirely believing what he said about her mother. Is he trying to twist her mind? She's been out of touch with other humans. Just trying to get to her, maybe? There's something so familiar in her voice, but dragons are both strange and familiar. This dragon had just confessed to doing something terrible to her family. The dragon asked, "What do you want to do?" "We are inside of one of your confusing doorways. I won't keep you here. Is there something you're going to teach me?" Looking into the dragon's eyes was like looking into all the eyes that those had ever met. By choice or consequence, her gaze was thusly open to the princess, completely surrounded by the movement of scales. With a wave of her hand, the fielded sled approached Akamar's face. The face grew defensively enormous as she appeared. The sled's field flickered away, and Soleil, surprised, stood her ground for a full 2 breaths in deep space. Moving to perch on the edge of her platform, Soleil faced a black tooth her size. "Forgiveness," she decided. "Before you destroy any more of us, I want you to know we're capable of forgiveness." She leaned forward and kissed the tooth. It seared her lips like an acid caress, soaking through the heat of her skin. In the gigantic tooth's black polish, she saw Akamar in a humanoid form, holding scale-clad hands to her face as though he had lost a tooth. Stepping back, Soleil reached up to touch her lips. Under her fingers, they felt as smooth as the dragon's tooth. So the first time being forgiven was like the first time losing a tooth. The first time needing forgiveness was like the first time learning about the world. "I'm giving you something that will protect you, Blackbird, and you can fly free. What you're feeling, where you kissed me, is a barrier of still nothingness. Is the kind of blank the mind reflexively fills with something that makes sense to your degree of suggestion. You can move among the planets as anything or anyone you'd rather, Princess Soleil, Magus. Or you can show yourself. See the barrier or not see it. Feel it or not feel it. You won't ever need to be rid of it. And welcome The wild rumpus right here. I'm just gonna celebrate the granting of a boon with this maelstrom of sound. Someone just learning about life received forgiveness and gave someone something in return. I think that's worthy of a parade. You can move among the planets as anything or anyone you'd rather, Princess Soleil, Magus. Or you can show yourself, see the barrier or not see it, feel it or not feel it. You won't ever need to be rid of it. You can never use it and always have it. Just as I now keep what you gave to me, our gifts to each other now given. I will put you back on your way. Can you remember your stars? Though tired, she replied that of course she could, like she knows her mother's face. Remember your stars then, and hold on to that. There are people there to meet you. Don't be afraid. The scales parted, receding and shrinking, to reveal the most familiar of skies. Alessandra was before her, small enough, yet near enough, to cup inside her two hands. It was moonrise over the edge. I'm separating the scenes here with a little bit of time passage. Dragons in this universe have many forms. Any form we can imagine that a dragon has taken, they can take. Any form that allows them to communicate with something else, they will assume. They have to communicate with any in their element. They are there to be known. Dragons need to know and be known. So they have various ways of changing forms. They may sublimate in order to remanifest. And this process of sublimation is beautiful. It's a little bit like the sublimation we know in chemistry, or is it like the alchemical sublimation that we study when it comes to creativity? Dragons are also made up of our creativity and our insight. The dragon has chosen a place in her seat, where he is known in many ways, by many, and knows many. The seat is strongest around the root existence, but is also much wider. Its nearness to root is defined by myriad relations. In this place of seat, you can see your place of work, a certain conception of function to which humans chiefly ascribe, and which is an interactive process of the peoples of the Pan-Galactic Imperium, the currently flourishing connective. The time phase during which Arcuda has been deeply involved in pan-galactic endeavors has been as happy for her as the one in which her current name was given. The dragon breathes deeply into her channels, 100 pollens or so, the blending of breezes in tiny streams, a tinkling sense to each thing. Outlines of pre-dawn hue begin to dim yonder city lights beneath the rugged slopes, scars of a planet. This particular place holds a meeting of factors which allows for a certain fluidity of being, a transformational autonomy. Dragons seek this the way people seek privacy. To everyone, dragons are so unlike and yet so like, as familiar and unknown as one's own molecules. They live under the tension of alien kinship as a consciousness of something that is a part of other things. Or do other things arise from dragon being? A dragon is a distinct person of memories, feelings, and parts, but also something elemental in all aspects everywhere. They are mysterious also to each other, but share many understandings, the greatest of which can be achieved on tabula rasa, or level plane. Arcuda feels an eagerness both warm and cool, like an Elysian breeze. A drawing together is much needed, energetically speaking, for this dragon. He wonders who else is of the same mind. And so as the dragon transformation begins, I'm just going to put some movement into the story. It's a wonderful thing to get to be oneself in all one's aspects, truest, greatest self. We've got to do it sometimes. Even if we can't always do it all the time. But what if we could? What if it was all we really could ever do? A dragon goes from being one thing to another, crossing various states of existence. These phases, ideas, and pieces of matter share a commonality. The dragon are self, sentient. Dragons exist in flux, not confusion, but flow and change. To create a ring of awareness through all their aspects as an individual, they go to tabula rasa, level plane. Doing that means they are there. They can only do that there, and they must do that to be there. A wholeness of dragon that is a different and particular state of being. Arcuda is the brightness of a sun, in simplicity and complexity. So would anyone, if anybody feels like participating right now, maybe we could just enjoy receiving sunlight. We're here, we've got amazing weather for Oregon Country Fair. And if sunlight knows us, then today we are favored by it. So we can just kind of be here, living on this plane, receiving what we know of as sunlight, thinking about it in all its forms of poetry and science and elements and physics and joy and feeling. Sunlight. Arcuda is the brightness of a sun, in simplicity and complexity, understanding your being as something received, shining through and being shone through. Pure speed and crackle of raw photons traveling together, the particle wave and refracted spectrum. Every datum of light cast from star source to a living destination. It is impossible to contain the singing of her being, and that is the world. Naked and of the world, in a place to be known beyond knowing, and to know beyond the known. Yes, he lives in all of these things. He is here. And this is a dance for the sun, as the sun, with the sun as one of us. And this isn't the only dragon. There are lots of dragons. There are uncountable dragons. How many dragons are there? More than 5, more than 10. as many elements as we can imagine. Maybe, absolutely way more than the periodic table of elements. We could say 4, people can say 4 if they feel like that works, but we could also come up with anything that seems intrinsic to itself, consistent throughout everything, anything we can find somewhere. That can be its dragon. If you start wondering, well, what is that dragon? Then you might start meeting that dragon. The more you ask, that's the process in this story of seeking the dragon. People who want to know, want to understand, who feel they understand better and better all the time. That's the dragon revealing itself. And that's reality, looking back at us, wanting to be known. And so dragons live and die and meet each other and know each other and give birth to each other without being beholden to each other. And sometimes the loss of a dragon changes the entire world. Things don't work the same. What if the fire dragon winked out? There would still be fire, but would we know it the same? Would it feel like it knew us? There are subtle differences when a dragon disappears. It's simply everything that belonged to it is not alive now. And that's the universe. And sometimes throughout life, we feel things change for no particular reason. Something just does not work the same or cannot be the same. Or something is beautifully new and beautifully different. And that's the living universe, as embodied and explained through dragons and Bones of Starlight. And so, a dragon died, and a dragon needed to talk to another dragon about it. And they both remember Ignis. Arcuda sank down into the photon stream to reappear in the arch. The full daylight of the sun strips was somehow solemn. First Aide Arjun Wulibi, addressing an unusual issue, walked into his control office to find the dragon Arcuda in humanoid form, laying down on her back, looking at the ceiling. "I need to talk to Arctiri," he said. Something was certainly amiss. "We're working something out. Also, we're not scheduled to go up for a few more days. I am telling you that he will be here soon to check on us. Are you all right? Arctiri will be here soon." Later that day, Arctiri's arrival was announced by formations of icy spires in the oceanic vicinity. The crew had been alerted while they resolved the issue, so there was no undue alarm. In a burst of effulgence, Arcuda remanifested in the photon stream. Uninterrupted, it expanded and coiled in a loosely incorporated form, the like of which Arctiri often favored. Without explanation, together they circled the structure. Those observing witnessed an unforgettable, ephemeral phenomenon that no recording could really capture. A swath of sunlight at the bottom of the ocean, wafting through a cold concentration, created a filamental filigree of flames drawn in ice, feathering out in gestural whirls of magnificent sculpture, sparkling and translucent like an ancient dawn. These crystalline forms dissipated slowly upwards, reforming as they touched each other in barely glimpsable micro-scenes of memory. The ice melted, and the sunbeam went away, leaving a hush of wonder and a few tracks washing away in the sand. now to cap things off, I'm just taking us back to the beginning of the story where something really special happens in the intergalactic Imperium. Every 7 years, the summer solstice aligns between 4 different planets in different galaxies, which is an incredible event, and one that's celebrated with the retelling of an ancient epic tale from the homeworld, the original human homeworld, from the ancient history of the original human homeworld. And so they retell this tale for the Imperium, now living on many, many planets across space and time. And at the end, they gather for Pyrian Midsummer, for the vision. And in the vision, humans are in concert with Aquarii who channel visions and visualize them and direct them toward dragons who communicate them across planets. It's really exciting, it's a big deal. A 21-person assembly awaited atop the verdant plateau. 1 dragon, 4 Aquarii, and 16 humans arrayed above, inside, and around the pergola. The procession halted at the plateau's edge, and alone the ruling family disembarked to join them. This is the big show, Chrysanthi. The vision. You were a baby last time you saw this. The young girl, still just small enough to ride atop her father's shoulders, squished his cheeks between her palms. They had a distant view from amid the sea of people filling the valley south of the plateau. He kept her hands off his face by holding them. Of course, it's never the same twice, but I remember you smiling. I doubt I could really see it if I was just a baby. Maybe so. It's good luck for you to be born so near Pyrian Midsummer. Now that you're 7, you get to see why. The Queen's voice rolled out over the surrounding valleys, transmitted into space beyond. Now, with all the peoples of the Imperium, we light the sky with the Pyrian vision. The mage's family turned to face the great pergola, and together sat on their knees. Papa, why do they kneel? A show of respect for the hopes and dreams we express in the vision. The 4 Aquarii in the respective corners of the pergola began to shimmer warmly. The 4 humans surrounding each Aquarii raised their palms, and the light around the Aquarii grew. A deep, melodic thrumming pervaded the air as their spheres of light widened to intermingle, beaming through the open pergola. See how the Aquarii channel the human representatives, mixing them all in one Rasakaria? What's a Raskori again? A synesthetic, like multisensory living portrait of emotion and thought. Something only Aquarii can do. How come those people get to do it? Chrysanthi's father took a deep breath and laughed. This event is unique, Xanthi. Them up there are the ones that started, but actually, we all get to take part. At no response but silence, he checked to see his daughter's face transfixed by the spectacle. Oral melodies began to wail, soar, and syncopate. Intricate brightness enveloped the entire pergola, reaching the coiled body of the dragon perched in massive flying form on the roof. Her silver blue scales flashed as he took to the air, gently spiraling to float high above. The massive light gained focus, a streaming latticework that converged on a pulsing point centered above the structure. It's all joined now, see? And they're making sense of it. Glowing geometry transformed through a series of iterations that became more concise and graceful. The central point grew brighter till it burst upward, illuminating the sky all the way to the dragon above. What dragon is that? Let's see. That's not our Kuda. He pulled the event program from his pocket. That's Artiri of Foshan. Saga, Kiridi, and Arzoa are on the other 3 planets this midsummer. The young girl repeated the names quietly. The light revealed the dragon's greater spectral being, extending through the sky in whirls and spikes. Artiri's body navigated a toroidal pattern, bending and channeling the light in this shape. The color of the sky began to change. Now the dragons are uniting the visions from across the universe, from 4 planets in 4 separate galaxies who share the same moment of summer solstice every 7 years, right now. When do we get to join in? You'll see. You'll know. Chrysanthe held her father's hands and craned her head to watch. The sun was setting to her left. Between the growing night and fading day, the sky did resemble a conduit reaching through the universe, though instead of being dark, it was vari-color luminescent. She untangled a hand to reach up to it. The combined light of 4 sunsets filled the air overhead, breathed in by the motion of the dragon's flight. The colors gained substance and weight, falling like mist until they reached upraised hands. It wasn't like rain or snow, but Chrysanthe felt it, an electric sparkle that raised the hairs on her skin. It reminded her of things. Warm cereal in the morning, dancing to the music her parents played. She saw the colors respond around her hand, and she did know just what to do after all. She tilted her head as the lines and figures issuing from her father's hand rose to meet her own small pictures. The expressions were abstracted, but when they joined, it somehow made a little more sense. Chrysanthe turned to see it happening everywhere around her. The sunset's light was fading, and the grand picture grew brighter in turn. She could see lines now that didn't come from around her, but from somewhere across the galaxies. And they too connect into the picture with meaning. It seemed miles wide. Arcturi above released the energy from the glowing torus, sending it back to the central focus. As a point of static harmony was reached, the Aquarii sent the energy crackling back through the pattern, rays of light connecting the disparate lines. And I'm just going to close this reading with a little more movement while we soak in the Pyrrhian vision of peoples from across galaxies, imagining together, envisioning together, hoping together, and showing that to everyone. Happy Fair, OCF. Step through your portals. My name is Eva L. Elasige, and my trilogy Bones of Starlight is available at the bookselling table and at the bookstore. Last chance today, etc. And feel free to come up to me with any questions or points of interest, or just anytime after this I'll be hanging around, or if you see me around the fair.